So, Kelly Poole, your goal today is to figure out what type of content to post for the new offer.
Yeah, and just in general.
Okay.
I think okay, so I'll kind of give you my background and then I'll let you do what you do.
All right.
When people have like their image of me, right? Because I was a fitness coach for so long, and that's really how I grew my platform is through fitness coaching. And so
Right.
I'm losing a lot of followers, which is fine because they don't align with the new things that I'm posting, which is cool. And I don't really care about that. I more want like good content that people resonate with for the people who do resonate with it. My issue is I don't feel like even the content, like sometimes every now and then I'll have a post where I'm like, okay, this is really great. I really like this. And then most of the time I'm like, what is the point of this?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it sounds like there needs to be more intention inside of the content that you're posting. You just don't know what the intention is with what you're posting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's great. We have a good place to start. Here's the thing. 99% of entrepreneurs or even content creators feel the same way.
Yeah.
So this is where we have to, do you remember when I did that call in the mastermind of creating the FBI profile for your ideal client?
Yeah.
So we create the new FBI profile for the new ideal client. And if that's a woman who's 35, we'll call her Suzanne. That's a terrible name. Let's call her.
Not ruined.
Well, let's do a worse name. Let's call her Tanya. And so Tanya is 35. She makes $80,000 a year. She drives this car. She goes to the gym 3 days a week. She's very holistic. So she's on farm. She goes to farmers markets on Sundays. And so when we can create this whole profile for who your ideal client is, and we can really understand Tanya, that's the only person you need to understand.
Yeah.
You have to create her and every part of her life so that you understand her better than she understands herself. And then all you have to do when you're making content is, what does Tanya need to hear today? How can I speak to Tanya? How can I solve a problem for Tanya, instead of getting it lost and diluting yourself into, how can I get the most amount of people to resonate with this? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I think it's like that to me makes perfect sense. And I think I like lose that somewhere along the way. But what I was telling you before is before I started making money off social media, like when I was just posting for the fun of it, it was
Yeah.
so easy. Like it was literally just like I was just me and it was great and I wasn't trying to like get any sort of outcome from it. But now that there's like, oh, I have an intention of why I'm posting this, it like feels weird.
Sure. So what did you stop doing?
Doing it for no purpose. Like obviously I was helping people, like the purpose was helping people, but no personal gain.
There's always personal gain for helping people. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
We don't help people for no reason. Now, that doesn't mean that we always help people selfishly. Like emotional payoffs, right? We do a lot of things for emotional payoffs. I help people because it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't help people if it didn't make me feel good. I wouldn't help people if it didn't, or if it made me feel empty or nothing. I probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I think I don't like that. Like I can't randomly post pictures sometimes. Like I'm like,
So
does everyone have to be
let's stop. Let's stop. I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Where is that story coming from?
business mentors?
Okay. So here's the thing. Business mentors can take you so far. And remember, most business containers are formulas. They're not principles. They miss the humanity and even the spiritual side of things. And so when you lose your humanity inside of business, humanity is where our passion is. Humanity is where our love is. Humanity is where our creativity is. And when we try to pigeonhole all of that into one strict formula of do everything this way, we are not inside of the business anymore. It loses that energetic signature of Kelly that makes it so powerful. that makes people love it, that makes you love it. People don't care what your business is. They care who you are inside of that business. And so we need to flip you back where you're the bigger priority of Kelly. And this is just what Kelly does.
Yeah.
So instead of this story of I can't post these random pictures, just start posting random pictures.
Yeah.
Your page is your page. People, there are hold on. I'm doing the call tonight. The call tonight I'm doing this, but there's 3 main connection points. It's common ground, vulnerability, and humor. Those are the 3 pillars for connection with people. And that's where random photos or your views or your hobbies or your interests give people the bridge to connect with you. If you're only business, there's already a pedestal that people put you on. They say, well, Kelly's this amazing coach. You know, she's got tens of thousands of followers. They paint social media as this very weird, fascinating thing where people have this illusion and they make anybody with a following appear as a god, whether it be subconsciously, right? They overly praise them and they also overly hate them because they think that there's just this massive separation. So being able to have that common ground with people, and this can look as something as simple as you saying, I love my dog. Or I love coffee. I always get this specific coffee order every time I go. People understand coffee. That's a super easy common ground for somebody who might have felt intimidated to connect with you about business, to say, if this person loves coffee and you post about coffee and they get to say, oh my gosh, you should totally try this, this, and this in your order. And you go, oh my God, that's such a good idea. Thank you so much. And then you send them a picture, tried it, loved it. Now there's connection. And now this person's probably going, hey, you know, I've been meaning to talk to you about coaching. I love what you're doing. That's the massive doors that we can open when we start showing common ground, vulnerability, humor. If you make people, you're really funny.
Thanks.
Well, could be a compliment, could not be. But you do. I mean, we know each other well. You have a good sense of humor, and I don't feel like that comes out very much on your social media.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Yeah.
I think all of your problems, they're not your problems. They're the version of you's problems that you're trying to pretend or think that you need to be in order to not have problems.
You're right.
So let's just get you back to being more Kelly inside of your content. And you are Kelly, whoever that looks like, who also has this new program for this person that helps them achieve this outcome.
Yeah.
And if you want to do a practical action step for that, where we can say, you know, hey, 3 days a week are your random post days. And then 4 days a week are your authority coach posting days. And so now there's just a system inside of the freedom, right? Remember, structure is where freedom exists. Does that feel a little bit better for you to at least have something to start taking direct action on, and then we can just monitor how it compounds from there?
Totally. I feel like that nails it really well. I have this like preconceived idea that especially in like the mindset coaching world, like it's like more serious people who are more like professional and like this is what they're doing. And so I think it like makes me lose the like, right, like the page is me, it's not my business page. And so I always try to be like, oh, business at the forefront, but I think
you are the business.
Yeah.
You are the business. And remember, there's a lot, mindset coaching has so many different branch offs, which is why it's really important for people to have that empathetic range that they've built for themselves. And that's real intelligence, in my opinion, is having an emotional range that you can operate inside of, because mindset coaching can be over here. It can be all the way over here. People can try to confuse it with therapy. They can try to confuse it with all these things. You are trained in NLP. You're trained in hypnotherapy. You're trained in success in life coaching. And so you can take what you know and what you teach, and you can do it in a fun way that's more native to who you are, because then you will attract people who love that you teach serious things in a lighthearted way. you just gave yourself your power. You said everybody in the space is super serious and super professional, which means if you do it a different way, there's your leverage.
Yeah. That's also what I've been thinking when it comes to like content. I'm like, everyone's posting the exact same things right now. Like everyone sits down in front of their computer, records it with a mic in the thing. Like it all looks the same. And so I'm like, gross, don't want to do that. And so I'm like, just kind of like, okay, what's next then? What's next? Because it's going to change very soon.
But what's next is whoever decides to do the next thing that's different and owns it and goes into it is going to be the one who succeeds.
Yeah.
You're my first YouTube video for my 30-day challenge of YouTube videos.
What up, YouTube?
Hey, I'll link her Instagram down below. But I've been saying this. I don't know if you remember when we first started the mastermind, the main thing I was saying is short form content will die out and people will go back to longer form content that's connection based, conversation based, because that's what we're missing more than anything is that heart space, that heart connection, people feeling seen, heard, and understood. Not just, hey, here's the attention real quick. Here's 3 reasons to do this.
Yeah. That's why like I used to have a podcast like 2 years ago and I loved doing it because it was just for the love of it. And like I genuinely enjoyed doing it. And now I have this hesitation to start the podcast again because it's in the wrong intention.
Well, so just do it for the right reasons again.
Facts.
Like you're not in the wrong for posting content that you genuinely want to post and also thinking, wow, that might be good for my business. That's not wrong.
Yeah. That's
just how your mind has to be as an entrepreneur. You can still show up, go on a podcast and talk about something you love and then say, actually, that makes me think about this and plug something in your business. That's fine. That's normal. That's fully in integrity. You're not manipulating anybody. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just being who you are, who also runs a business. And so you're going to talk about all that spectrum of things. That's okay. But you actually just need to get the concrete plan and execute it.
Yeah.